I want to show you a photograph. Look at this carefully. This is a real photograph from early 1900s. Someone saw an automobile, a machine with an engine capable of moving on its own, and their instinct was to hitch a horse in front of it. Now, that's not stupidity. That's what happens when a new technology arrives and the human operating it hasn't made the mental shift yet. They took the most sophisticated transportation technology in the world and turned it into a very expensive carriage. I want you to keep that image in your mind for next 8 minutes because I'm going to argue that most professionals are doing the exact same thing with AI right now. Okay, think about what it would have been like to be a skilled carriage driver in 1905. You'd spend years mastering your craft. You understood horses, their temperament, their endurance, how to read the road ahead, how to manage a turn, all of that stuff. You were genuinely excellent at moving people from point A to point B. And then somebody comes along and starts talking about cars. Your first instinct is reasonable. Hey, this is a faster horse. So you start learning the parts of it that feel familiar: the seat, the wheels, the body. But you can't imagine the steering wheel because you've never needed one. You can't imagine the three pedals because your feet were never a part of driving. You can't imagine filling a tank with fuel because horses fed themselves. So the frame of reference you've spent your entire career building actively prevents you from seeing the full extent of the change. And here's the part that should make you really uncomfortable. This is exactly where most professionals are sitting with AI today. They're learning the parts that feel familiar, automating a workflow here, generating a draft there, calling it transformation, but they haven't made the deeper shift. And that deep shift is the only thing that actually protects a career. So, what does the shift look like? I think about it in three moves. Move one, unlearn. The carriage driver needs to stop thinking about horses altogether, completely. There's no concept from horse drawn transportation that transfers to driving a car. The steering logic is different, power source is different, failure modes are different, everything is different. So for you, this means letting go of the mental models that made you successful before AI. The idea that expertise means knowing more than others. The notion that productivity means writing more code per unit time than the next person. That value means producing outputs faster. That seniority means having answers. These models are dissolving. And I know that sounds threatening, but here's the reframe. Everyone is starting with zero on this. So the professional who unlearns the fastest has an enormous advantage. Move to learn what actually matters. The carriage driver needs to learn the steering wheel, the pedals, the fuel system, not because those things are intrinsically interesting to him, but because that's what the new tool requires. So for you, this means being intentional about the AI capabilities you invest in learning, not chasing every new release, but deeply understanding the capabilities most relevant to the value you want to create. That's the difference between tool familiarity and tool fluency. Most people stop at familiarity. You need to get to fluency. Okay, move three. Rebuild your mental model around your objective, not the tool. This is the one that most people miss, and it's the most important. The carriage driver's job was never to manage horses. It was to actually move passengers from point A to point B. The horses were just the mechanism. Now, once you internalize that, once your identity is tied to the outcome rather than the method, switching to a car becomes obvious. For you, this means asking a different question, not how do I use AI to do my current job better, but asking what outcome am I fundamentally here to create? And how does AI change the best path to get there? That reframe is actually an identity shift. It's uncomfortable, it takes time, and it's the only thing that builds a career position that AI cannot automate away. The professionals who make this shift become strategic leaders, The ones who don't become very proficient tool operators right until the tool changes again, which it will. Now, in case you think this is all theoretical, let me take the example of Kodak. Kodak's own engineers invented the digital camera in 1975. They had the technology before anybody else, but Kodak's entire identity was built around film. The chemistry, the manufacturing, the retail relationships, the revenue model, leadership just couldn't make the shift. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they could not unlearn who they were. Kodak filed for bankruptcy in 2012. Technology wasn't the problem, the identity was. So it's time for you to think about which side are you on. I've spent 25 years navigating technology disruptions, from software to SaaS to mobile to AI, and the pattern is always the same. People who thrive aren't the ones who adopt the fastest, they are the ones who make the identity shift first. If this resonated with you, and if you are sitting with the honest question of whether you are the carriage driver or the automobile driver, I would love to go deeper with you. I'm running a free live session on Maven called How to Make the Career Move AI Can't Automate. In 45 minutes, we'll get into the specific mental models, structured frameworks, and concrete steps to build a career positioning that compounds over time instead of eroding every time a new model drops. The link to register is in the description. It's free, it's live, and it's built for professionals who are ready to make the shift. And if you want to go all the way, I'm launching a full 4-week course called Unautomatable Strategic Positioning in the AI Era. People who attend the free session get early access and priority enrollment. I'm going to keep sharing frameworks, stories, and honest conversations about what it actually takes to build a career that holds up as AI advances. Not hype, not tool reviews, the deeper shift. If that's useful to you, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. If you found this talk valuable, please share with your friends who could benefit from it. And one question for the comments. When you look at your career right now, are you the carriage driver learning to use a car? Or are you still hitching horses to the front of it? I read every response. So see you in the next one.